The Dental Brief is brought to you by Omni Premier Marketing and the amazing guests who bring wisdom and advice that you can put to use to take your business and practices to the next level. Find us on Facebook and join the conversation. Get ready to grow because we are kicking off the next episode in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. So excited for today's guest. Works with doctors all over the country, professionals all over the country. Steve Adams, say hello to everyone.
Patrick, I'm excited to be here, excited to share with your audience today.
Yeah. Steve, I know that you work with dentists. You've got a significant amount of experience helping dentists and other professionals too. Tell me, how did you end up working with dentists? We're going to get into what you do here in a minute, but tell me, how did you end up working with dentists?
Well, I should just say dumb luck, honestly.
Sure.
One of my friends, Scott Manning, works in the industry extensively, and we got a client from him. And then one of my health coaches and our doctor said, get more people like this, because they understand clinical, and they're curious intellectually, and they're very conscientious, which dentists are. And they really followed the direction and the coaching and the protocols and got great results. And so that's kind of how it happened, honestly.
Yeah. It's funny, that happens to so many people, and it's a great niche to work within. Tell me a little bit about Tiger Medical Institute. So I know you're the CEO of Tiger Medical Institute. Kind of tell me, just to give us a rundown of what you do and how you help people.
Well, at the end of the day, what we do is we basically restore people to their optimal place and then help them have a much longer runway of healthy living so that they show up the best version of themselves. If you think of Maslow's pyramid, everybody's up in the top and they're focused on their business and making money and all of that. And at the very foundation is their physiology. If they do not have good health, they've lost the first wealth, if you will. Mm-hmm. And this business started out of my own story. I was telling you before we came on that I had a large, almost 50 store chain of stores, 100 million in revenue. And I hit a wall and crashed. And the problem was, Patrick, I didn't feel well. I was exhausted. My energy was poor. I wasn't sleeping well. I was stressed. I was anxious all the time. I had a lot of GI issues. And I would go into a traditional primary care doctor and specialists, and they would say, your tests look within range. You're okay. And the problem was I didn't have a disease yet. And I'm not throwing stones at MDs and DOs, traditional medical care. I have a lot of great friends in that industry. They do a great job. But there's a lot of people like I was. And so what people end up doing is they start looking at biohackers and trying 15 different things, but they're not testing, and so they don't know, so they're guessing. Sure. And the problem that we've solved is we've taken all the guesswork out of people, and we've created an organized process where they can go through on a journey with us for a year and completely transform their health.
Yeah. So let's talk about dentist specific. I know that you can, vaguely speaking, what are some of the issues and problems that you see dentists specifically and people then coming to you for?
According to ADA, 82% of them are stressed significantly. 57% are burned out.
Sure.
And then you think about the business owner dentist who has the business stress as well as the clinical stress of being in tight, dark spaces all day, hunched over with clients, a lot of whom don't want to be there. They got fear. And so all of that works on their body over time, and the bill kind of comes due when they get 45, 50 years old and up.
Right.
And then the other thing our doctors are finding clinically is they've got some unique toxin profiles because of their setting and the stuff that they work with. And so, so we've gotten pretty good at being able to help them, remove those things and, clean themselves up a little bit. But it's really that, the whole process is very curated. It's high touch. It always involves lifestyle change and habit change. And so that's why we have the health coach that implements the clinical plan to help that dentist make those lifestyle changes over the course of a year.
Yeah, that's sounds fantastic. I know for some people too, when they hear these types of things, there's a lot of doubt that comes into people's minds, right?
Yep.
right? I think it's a pretty common thing. Like, is this legit? Is it's going to help? And I'm
Right.
sure that you have plenty of doctors that people can talk to, right? They can. I'm
Huh?
sure you can provide that a little bit. But what do you say to that? If you're the type of person that's
Sure.
always skeptical, and I think introverts tend to be more skeptical.
They
There's
do.
a lot of
Yep.
introverts in dentistry. So what do you say
Right.
to those people that are going, I don't think so?
Well, one of the things we've done is, we've built a very robust website with, there's over 150 articles with videos talking about the 8 or 9 different pain point areas that people have that come to us. And they're written by one of our doctors, our health coach, me. And so we give a lot of information. We have full transparency in there on price and in our process and how we do things. And then we have a myriad of video testimonials of actual dentists and other professionals on the website telling their story, because
Sure.
ultimately that's going to convince them more than me trying to sell them. And
Yeah.
also, I'll tell you, our doctors are they're naturopathic MDs. They're real medical school graduates. They do everything evidence based. We have one of the top genetic partners in the world. So every one of our gene markers that we look at, our doctors can drill down and see the latest evidence based therapies per gene marker. So we can really precisely engineer a personalized medical system for each person.
Sure. Now I will, let me kind of get to this question here in a moment. I'm 48.
Yep.
When I was 42, 43, 41, and
Mhm.
any age below then, I thought stress was like, you're nuts. If you have stress, what are you
What's the
doing?
problem?
What's wrong with you?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, about 45 or 46, maybe a little bit younger than that, I started realizing what stress was,
Yeah.
and feeling stress. And a lot of times, there's not really good, significant reasons to feel stress. You just do. A lot
You
of the
just
things that you stress about really don't matter that much.
right.
But
Exactly.
yeah, but stress is an issue for me. And one of my top Google searches is like how to alleviate stress, how to live a
Yeah.
less stress free life. And I will also tell you, at the age of 48, I'm now at that age where people are dropping dead of
Right.
heart attacks
And
that are in
strokes.
good health as far as typical tests and markers are concerned, right? They work out,
Right.
they go to the gym. I know
To
someone
average.
2 years ago, 48 years old, at the gym where they were religiously drop dead. So these are, I know, oftentimes stress related. How do you get to a place for the younger listeners that are under 40 years old, or under that age where stress is something that you're starting to feel? How do you start to identify it? How do you start to prepare
Yeah.
for that? How do you get help before it becomes a problem?
Problem. Well, that's what we are. Yeah, we're traditional medicine is sick care. What we are is proactive pre-disease care. So that's a way to frame us. But I'll give you some very practical things. I give away our content because the bottom line is a lot of people won't do anything about it without having someone help them.
Sure.
But there are people who will, and so that's why I love to share. So first thing that you want to understand about stress is that it is cumulative. So we measure something called heart rate variability. It's a very science-based measure of overall health, and that is basically a biomarker of life load. And we can actually reverse that and move it back up and make you more resilient. But what happens is that your 20s, 30s, 40s, all the stress you've experienced in your life and how you've handled it is cumulative. And that's why for you, you start to feel it more when you're 48, when in 28, it just rolled off your back like water off a duck. So something people can do very simply is learn that you have the ability to control and mitigate stress on demand. I can't eliminate you from facing stress, but you can deal with it differently. So as a businessman, what I do, because I feel it every day, I run 2 companies now, is whenever I start to feel worked up, I do what's something called deep diaphragmatic breathing, which is a 4-second breath in through the nose, slight top, hold it at the top, and then exhale through your mouth, pursing your lips so you can control it for 6 seconds. When you do 4-6, that activates your vagal nerve and it helps kick in recovery, and it'll pull you out of stress response into balance. Okay, and you can look up diaphragmatic breathing on YouTube and find out how to do it, because you got to use your belly when you do it. But that is a very simple thing that anybody listening here, if they start doing it and they do it every day, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes before the bedtime, or when they feel stressed out. 3 weeks from now, they'll be writing me and telling me how thankful they are.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm shocked again as I start to discover some of these things myself, how well that they work. Give us another little tip. I mean, that's a great
Sure.
freebie right there. Give us another one.
Yeah. Well, another one is meditation. And, for people who are faith-based, it's simply shutting your mind down and meditating, say, on a verse of scripture, okay?
Sure.
If you're not, it's mainly stopping for 15, and you got to start at 5 minutes, you do it. The key is doing it every day, because if you can get to, 10, 15, 20 minutes where you're just focusing on your breath, the act of doing that and pulling yourself into now will actually amplify the effects of the diaphragmatic breathing.
Yep.
And it adds gray matter. It improves your cognition. It improves your overall resilience. So that would be a second one. And then the third big area, and these are all health habits. We have something called the 8 Tiger health habits that we train people in. A third one is really learning how to dial your sleep in and optimize it. It's something we're extraordinarily good at. You have to have data, though. You have to have the science behind it. Otherwise, you're just going to be shooting in the dark.
Sure. Go back to the meditation here for a
Yeah.
minute, and I know how helpful meditation is. I think at this period of time in our universe here, our world,
Yeah.
I think most people know and believe that there's significant health benefits. There's overwhelming studies that prove it.
Right.
It's
1,400 of them. Yep.
yeah, it's just it's as true as can be. However, most people I don't think have success with it. I think the reason why most people have success with it is they can't build the habit.
Right.
And they do it 3, 4 days, 5 days. I'm going to meditate every day, once a day, twice a day, whatever it may be, whatever the style of meditation, the practice of meditation. And then somehow all of a sudden a period of time goes by and they go, oh yeah, a month ago, I said I was going to meditate every day for a month and I did it for 5 days and I forgot. And they don't even literally remember the last 21 days of whatever the math is, 25 days of not meditating. How do you build that habit? I mean, how did you, I bet you meditate every day. How'd you build that habit?
Of the 8 habits, this is my worst, because I'm type A and we hate timeouts. And it's a mindset thing. And so what we do with everybody when our health coaches are working on a new habit is what they do is they lower the motivational bar and they say, let's just meditate for 5 minutes.
Right.
That's it. And all I want you to do is just focus on your breath with your eyes closed. Nothing else. No fancy, meditation techniques. Honestly, you don't need any technique. You just need to focus on your breath. But do it for 5 minutes and associate it with something. So, like when you first wake up and you hit the coffee pot and turn it on, it takes like 5 minutes. Meditate for 5 minutes. And start learning how to associate it with something else you do every day, tie it to another thing that you do,
Sure.
And start really small. Because what will happen is if you can just do 5 minutes for 2 weeks in a row, the motivation will come because you'll start to feel the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's some great advice. Steve, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, I know the website is tigermi.com. Right? It's the Tiger Medical Institute, but it's tigermi.com is the website. If they want to get in touch with you or a member of your team to learn more. First of all, there is a ton of information on the website. It's almost an overwhelming amount of information to go over in such a short period of time, which you're going to find out. Go check it out. There's a terrific amount of information there. But if they want to get in touch with a member of your team to learn more one-on-one, how do they do that?
There's really 2 things they can do. One, some people, especially with the dentist, if they're introverted, they're not quite ready. I'd say go poke around our learning center and then go to tigermi.com/one. So ONE. And you can get a free physical book from me. I wrote, it's called Patient Number 1, and it's written to dentists. And it's about teaching them to make themselves patient number 1. Okay. Second thing you can do is the same website, tigermi.com. Right on the front page, it has schedule a health assessment. Just click on there. You'll either get me or Troy, and we will take you through about a 45-minute assessment of your overall health. It's not a clinical one, but what we're trying to do is get a really good feel if you're a good fit for what we do or not. We are far enough along in this we absolutely will not take your money or even propose that you buy from us unless we feel like we can genuinely help you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Steve, I want to thank you for coming on the program and the audience one more time, tigermi.com. Steve Adams, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time and your help.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm grateful. Appreciate it.